Bill has been talking to me about, you know, getting into coaching, make some money. So
Yeah, for sure. So what
a
else
little
are you
bit.
doing then now? What's new?
So this Saturday I'm racing for Samantha Tan Racing in the GT World Challenge official esports series.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, as one of BMW's pro drivers.
That is
So that's
fantastic.
yeah, it's awesome, but it's a bit daunting, not gonna
Oh,
lie.
yeah, imagine so.
Perfect. It's up now. Um, yeah, so and
Still not showing up for me. Oh, there,
yeah,
did this time. Okay.
so yeah, been trying to get into that and these big teams, it's interesting how much, esports is kind of, being on these manufacturers' radars now.
Mm-hmm.
So, getting a bit more serious.
Well, for sure. No, that's fantastic. That's awesome. Will that be broadcast
Thanks.
then? I mean, I assume. I don't.
Yep. Yeah, so I'll post the link and everything beforehand, but it's on Saturday at I'd like to say 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Okay. I'll
So,
have to watch a
yeah.
replay. I'll be racing at Heartland Park this weekend.
Oh, really? Nice. In what?
SP1 Spec 944 class.
Oh, awesome. How many of you guys, because isn't there a few guys that race 944s or at least track them? Because
Uh-huh.
I know JR's always talking about it, right?
Yeah, so
Or,
that's kind of what got me into this was Ian Simon with Q Cup,
yep,
and so that kind of got me into sim. Like I busted out my old PlayStation wheel and hooked up to my computer. You know, I was sitting on a rolling chair at my computer, driving. Every time I was braking, I'd be sliding away from the wheel and I have to like roll myself
yep.
back forward and go again. Um, so yeah, that's what got me into it. So yeah, so him and several of the other guys that's kind of how it started.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I know. I should send you this picture. A friend of mine had that set up too, and he basically attached like a rope or like a ratchet strap to the bottom of his seat to
Yes, that
prevent
is
him from sliding
fantastic.
back.
I started just taking a towel and like trying to shove it underneath all the wheels, and
Yep.
then I finally 3D printed some little like things to put underneath the wheels so it stopped actually rolling. I like marked it with tape where they actually went, so I'd be in the same position every time.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh man.
All right, I am in.
Perfect. So, yep, it should be the same setup that you had for Series 8.
Okay.
And yeah, so just want to go out and just do a couple laps, get warmed up, and I'll just ride on board and
All right.
let you do your thing.
Is there chicane? No chicane. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, that threw me off too.
Oh, I forgot about the bump. That's most unfortunate.
Oh, good.
Oh, is damage real? Oh man, that's gonna
Oh,
be.
sorry. Yeah.
Nope. We'll just go get a car that has a hood, maybe.
Yeah.
I'll take it a little more easily now.
Yeah, that bump is in such a bad spot. I guess let's go like one more lap because it looks like you're just getting warmed up.
Okay.
And have you stop the end of this one.
All right.
Perfect. So, first thing just noticed was more or less, uh, let's have you hop out of the car real
Okay.
quick and so we can reset the tires and everything.
Yeah.
I'm gonna share my. You're not in VR, are you?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna hop over to Discord real quick. I'm gonna share my screen.
All right.
Mm, Where is it? Oh, come on. Just do screen one. All right. So, one thing I want to show you. So, the one thing I noticed for right off the bat is just a few areas where I can hear at least with the throttle and
Mm-hmm.
everything, you're getting into it, right?
Yep.
And it's almost like you're backing off quite a bit.
Yep.
The biggest place I'm hearing is like at T5, which is where right after the back straight there.
Yep.
Um, so the one thing I want to just say about this car is whenever it's always like one input is always what we're trying to is the goal,
Okay.
obviously, right? And um, the biggest thing with this car is that it really wants to get up. We want to get to 100% throttle as quickly as possible,
Mm-hmm.
right? And as smoothly as possible. So, one of the things here, if we're just focusing on just the throttle application, can you see VRS all right, or do I need to blow it up bigger?
It's a little pixelated. Yeah, it's a little better.
A little bit better?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. Do you see my cursor?
Mm-hmm.
Or do
Yep.
I need to draw on this?
Nope.
Okay. So one thing that I like that we have here is, I noticed you'd have to get um, out of it right on the exit curb there.
Mm-hmm.
So this car really definitely, you have to be patient with getting on that throttle. You almost want to, I coast or have like a small little trail going to the apex and then getting gradually onto that throttle. Where unlike some of the GT3s and everything, and some of the other cars here, where you can really brake deep and hard. This one, it's really having just a smidge of weight on that nose right until you want to get into the throttle, because if you get onto the throttle a bit too soon with no weight up front, the car just plows.
Okay.
So um one of the big areas right there at T5. The other place that I noticed it a bit is at T9, which is coming out of the boot section as well. You can see it definitely here in your throttle trace. Um, you you have to get out of it, right?
I think
Which
I had a big thing of oversteer on that lap.
y- yeah, and that's probably because what I found with there is that holding that small bit of maintenance throttle
Yep.
right at the apex and really just waiting for that rise to
Mm-hmm.
end because it's this car just will not put the power down
Mm-hmm.
if you're anywhere on that crest
Yep.
there. So, um, you know, we got to be definitely just really gradual. Don't be afraid to keep trailing towards the apex. Or once you get on the throttle, it's got to be like a gradual sort of squeeze of the throttle.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really
Okay.
wait for it, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's something else that I know I struggle with is picking the right time to go full throttle. Where yeah, every once in a while, yeah, I feel like, yeah, that was perfect. And then I try and do the same thing next time. And I'm like, oh, it's too early.
Mhm.
I'm having to let off. And then next time I was like, oh, I was too late this time. Like I'm slow on the straight. And so I think
Yep.
some inconsistencies for me of picking my point to get on the throttle. But absolutely.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, this car, it's definitely, I know when you've hit it when I'm at the apex and it's like I can go right to 100% throttle.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's definitely you got to be patient. You got to wait for the car to get the grip at the apex. And then once you get that grip, gradually go in, go into that throttle.
Okay. Yep.
So, T5 and T9 is the two places I would definitely focus on waiting to
Okay.
get on the throttle there.
Okay.
So, it's good to go. Let's go again.
Okay. That. Did I do that? There we go.
a smidge better. That was much better. Guess I'll have you just pull over at the end of this one. That was better. Way
Felt
better.
better. That was actually the 44.8 was the best lap I've ever run here.
Really?
It's that second
Awesome.
one.
Awesome, man. All right, so I think yeah, there was like T9. There was definitely when you got it there, that was a lot better.
Hmm.
Um, and same with T5, but like being lot more patient with that and kind of rolling through the middle is really, really much better. One of the things that I want to about this Cup car as well, because it's got such, not as much grip as some of the other cars on the service, we gear selection is quite crucial as well,
Hmm.
and we actually tend to run, a higher gear as well.
Hmm.
Um, so typically, the way I like to see it is like if it's marginal between like one gear or another, unless I'm going into the corner and I'm understeering through it, or I can feel like I'm going in too hot, I'm
Hmm.
always going to use the higher gear because it'll get me a better traction on the exit.
Okay.
So, T9 specifically coming back onto the NASCAR circuit, try using third gear through there,
Oh. Okay.
rather than second.
Okay.
Um, that'll help you get better traction coming out of there. Um, Everywhere else, I think T5 and I believe it's nah, T5 and where was the other place? Give me a second. Um,
So I went down to in seven. I went down to second once. Just I don't know why. Normally I would try and stay in third for that.
Yep. Yeah, that was the one I'm thinking of. Yep. T7 for sure. Third gear. Second, unless if you're going way too far through, but definitely I would try sticking in, the higher gears
Hmm.
everywhere. Um, so because it's definitely like it allows you to get a bit more aggressive with that maintenance throttle
Sure.
in between because you're not as much in the power band.
Yeah,
So,
and that's something that I think I feel a lot is coming into the power band where I can be like full throttle, and then as the revs are coming up, I also feel like I have to lift, otherwise I'll spin, like I'll lose the rear. It was really bad at whatever the track we just raced at, Knock Hill, but I don't remember.
Summit Point,
Was
right?
it some?
Was it Summit or Winton? I
Maybe Winton. Yeah, we
what?
haven't done Knock Hill yet. It was yeah, it was yeah Summit Point. I'm sorry, yeah Summit Point. The oh god, what turn would have been 5, 6 ish, somewhere that little left, right, right, left, right, left little
Yep.
sequence. But between
Yep.
the got that downhill left and a little short squirt to then pretty long right hander. Like that,
Mhm.
especially was somewhere that I felt like I could go full throttle coming out of the left, but I had to lift off because as the revs built up and I came to that power band, I would lose rear traction. And I think
Yep.
that's always like in my mind a little bit because I don't have that physical feel of a car sliding. Like I'm just relying on
Yep.
hearing sound. It's like it makes me timid and lift off the throttle maybe more than I should or
Hmm.
need to. Mostly, I think just because the alternative is that one time I miss it, that I'm spinning, and it's a whole lot of loss.
Right.
So,
Yeah, for sure. And it's very easy to do in this car. It's even I what type of wheel do you have? Just out of curiosity.
that's a fantastic question. I bought it from Garrett Taylor about a month ago. What is this thing? This is a Fanatec. I don't even know. It is not direct drive, I can tell you that. I don't know. C. I
Is
think
it
there's a
the
C
like
in there.
yeah, is it this like CSW or CSL or whatever?
CSL
It's like
sounds
that.
familiar.
Okay.
There's an Xbox wheel if that.
Yeah, I think I know which one it is. It's belt driven, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, for sure. It's still I don't reason I was asked because I know at least, with my wheel it likes to return to center
Uh huh.
whenever I've got oversteer or anything like that, but
Mm-hmm.
I rely heavily on listening to those tires,
Okay. I'll
in this car at least.
I'll adjust my
Um,
sound a little bit and try and raise.
Let me see what I've got my stuff set at. Yeah, you've got it. You've got it a bit better, more distinct than I do. So you should be fine,
Okay.
I would say. Um, but yeah, it's definitely I would try using a higher gear,
Yep.
try just, making sure coming onto the back corner, last corners, try make sure you're always staying in fourth there
Yep.
and um T9 I think is definitely the biggest one
Okay.
of try third through there.
I'll give third a try. All right.
Yep.
Had a habit I downshifted to second there.
It's all good. Try braking a little bit sooner
Okay.
for that turn as well. That'll help you get the nose in. It's good. Yeah, we're. Yep. A little too early. Oh man, I'm looking for that like mid 44. All right. I think if you want to pull over, that turn 9 is looking way better now.
That
Though, how
felt
do
a
you?
lot better for sure. Yeah.
Way more consistent, I
I feel
would
like
say.
watching my Delta, I feel like I'm losing time going into it. Like I'm about half second off, and then by the time I'm at the apex, I'm like point 0.8, point 0.9 seconds off.
Hmm.
So I don't know if I'm should I need to trail brake more into that?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a bit more track there, for sure, to use. Where are you when you get to the next turn, I guess? Do you know what the delta is
do
when you get
so I
there?
do make some back for sure. So a lot of times when I make a change in a corner, I feel like I'm then probably over braking, but I'm exiting
Hmm.
the corner better. So yeah, might lose like 4 tenths, but I gain back 1 or 2 tenths, sort of a thing. So like on the whole, I'm net negative, on the whole I'm losing a bit of time, but
Yep.
I'm exiting better. And then I think it just feels like then it's the repetition of then adjusting my braking for whatever change I've just made to kind of gain that entry speed back.
Yeah, because there's still, a few feet that you can use there
Yep.
on that curbing, which, that, like you said, it's going to come with repetition. But, one of the biggest things with that specifically is that you're going to gain time throughout the race as well. Because without using those rear tires as much, you're going to have a lot more tire to use at the end of the race
Sure. Yeah,
as well.
that makes sense. Absolutely. I know. I
So,
think one of the areas then for me again with one of my big issues I know with like over driving is like I make a change like this, and then I would go out and I'd start trying to brake later, and then I start blocking up, and then as I'm over driving, I know I'm losing more and more time. And I get frustrated with the whole thing, and I go back to well I was doing it before and I was staying on track. I just go back to where I was, and so
yep.
I don't advance my braking maybe incrementally
hmm
enough, or getting the right feel for the trail braking, especially like in a corner like that, where I'm trying to do too much while turning. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, and I think, one of the things that it's a bit, not as, I guess with this car, it just shows with, um, it's not always going to be about braking later in this car.
mhm.
It's going to be about maximizing the exit
Okay.
speed in this car and maximizing how much speed you can carry at the apex. This car definitely, braking hard and braking late it's overdriving is definitely it's going to show.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a harsh, a harsh lesson for sure where, I find that the fastest laps that I've ever done in this car is when I feel like I'm not at the limit and everything is under control.
Okay.
Whenever I've tried to, really, really push and everything, it's definitely it's counter it's hurt me quite a bit.
Yep.
Um, so, this is definitely a car where it's like I would definitely focus more on, if you are overslowing, maybe it's release rather than um, trying to brake later, maybe releasing the brake a bit sooner.
Okay.
If
Yep.
that makes sense.
Yep.
Because I have found definitely for sure like a hard hit and then really trailing off
Mhm.
works quite
Mhm.
well in this car. So, but it's really focusing on maximizing that exit speed is the key to really, really being fast in this car.
Okay. Yep.
Um, so do you want me to do any laps at all
I would
and
love to
ride on board?
watch some real laps. Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'll just do that and I think for sure um just the idea of like being really patient with the throttle and just really waiting
Mhm.
as well. So I'll try not to overdrive. So let me know when you're in my cockpit.
Why am I not? Got you selected, but it's there we go.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
cannot
and
find the
see
cockpit. There we go.
there's definitely I take a few different lines as well.
Okay.
Um, but I definitely want focus on seeing where I'm picking up the throttle
Yep.
in this car. See if you can get some reference points or anything like that.
You go over the bump.
I do. I do go over that bump. It's so sketchy though. And I do trail quite a bit going in. P1 is definitely, one where getting the right point for throttle is very critical on this track, just because of how long this straight is.
Sure. Are you in third gear?
Yes.
Okay. God, that is an abrupt bump. I just...
So, yeah. Ooh, no. Yeah. Sorry about that. Um, yeah, let me try to put together a lap. Yeah, it is. That bump is just so. Uh, I don't. I don't brake quite as hard because of it.
Yeah.
And with the hill going down as well. Um.
Remember the first
But
practice session where I was prepping for the race for this series, and I didn't know about the bump. Like, people kept talking about this bump, and I was like, I don't know what anyone's talking about. And then I got
yeah.
to it, and I hit it, and that's exactly what I did, just straight in the wall. Actually, probably didn't even get turned. And I tried it one more time, like, all right, well, I'll just try braking for it and see what I can figure out. Straight in the wall again. I'm like, all right, yep, we're just going on the inside, and we're just not even going to bother with that, because that will
Yes.
never go well for me. That's what I decided.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, let me keep it slower. Yeah, it's just like you get the momentary sort of lock,
Mm-hmm.
and then it's over from there.
Yeah.
So. Remember, we're on cold tires
Mm-hmm.
too. Yeah, waiting just a smidge in that last corner. That apex help you get out to the wall. You're getting on it just a smidge too soon.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely that same thing with the understeer. No
Yep.
weight on the nose. So. Missed that a little bit, but not the cleanest lap, but yeah, it's definitely just trying to focus on just being really, really patient
Mm-hmm.
with where I'm getting on the throttle there.
Yep.
And just trying to get on it as soon and as I hope that helped.
No, it did. No,
Wasn't
yeah.
wasn't my wasn't the cleanest slap in the world, but you know, like I said, it's really there's a few places where you need that maintenance throttle
Mm-hmm.
here, you know, because you can carry so much speed at the apex, and then it's really just, you know, settling the car.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so
Do you, when you're
yeah.
a lot of these corners, so I guess most specifically, turn eight, um, that is a corner that I'm actually felt better tonight than I usually do feel there. Watching you, watching a lot of people that are faster than me do it, I feel like you get to a point when you, for a lot of corners where you turn in, I just feel like the speed you're carrying, if I turned in like that, I I would just understeer off the track. And I don't know if it's because are you still have like 5-10% throttle or brake applied to keep a little weight on the front end? I'm not doing a good job of that. Or maybe I have 20% brake on it. It's too much. But there are definitely a lot of corners that I feel like if I tried to at my turn in point have the speed that whoever else I'm watching does, I just like I won't make that corner. Like I'm driving a different car. Like
Yeah.
I will not hit that apex. I will be a car width and a half off and running wide. Like there's just and so I don't know. I mean, clearly we're running the same setup, so it's weird. I'm just doing something wrongly, and I don't see what it is. I guess.
Yeah, no, for sure. And to answer your question, yes, I am carrying a smidge of brake
Okay.
through there, just enough so that I can keep you know, just keep it on that nose.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so let me do the change target. So T8. And you know what's funny is that we're pretty much doing almost the exact like very similar
Mm-hmm.
um time-wise through there.
Hmm. Okay.
Uh which so um but yeah, so I don't know if you can see where my cursor
Mm-hmm.
is.
Yep.
Um I have at that point about 10% brake
Sure
still
enough.
on.
Okay.
Um and one of the things, you know, that let me see, where's a good spot? Kind of show. Ah, here's a good one. So T9 here. Um, you know, where this is sort of that break curve I was talking to you about where it's I've got this hit
Mm-hmm.
basically
Mm-hmm.
and then this trail
Yep.
off right before I start to put throttle on
Yep.
as well. And I see you definitely have that little bit of overlap as well. Um, yeah, I'm really, you know, it definitely pays to have just a smidge of brake on the car,
Okay.
um, on that nose while you're turning in,
Okay.
just because there's just not enough grip.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's definitely it helps this car quite a bit. So, whereas I feel like a lot of these cars, it's like you want to hit that threshold braking point and then, you know, just hold it there until you start turning in. This one, it almost seems like you want that nice aggressive hit to just get the no weight on the nose and then just start really trailing it off
Mm-hmm.
and start turning in.
Yep.
So,
That makes
um,
sense. And that absolutely would explain then why I think I've had that feeling a lot of times is watching then is that yeah they're just still have you have a little brake application that I'm not doing.
mhm. Yeah, and you know, that's one of those things where I think, you know, if we can get a good, you know, getting that um a good throttle application right at the apex there. Once you start feeling more and more comfortable being able to carry more speed in, you know, it's it'll come
Mm-hmm.
there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think probably because, you know, even here I'm braking just a smidge earlier than you.
Mm-hmm.
S- Um, you know, while you're going wide there. Um, but you know, in all of these turns where we've got these large time deltas. It's not like I'm not making up the time on you from braking later.
Right.
I'm making it up because I'm getting to the throttle sooner.
Yep.
So, um, definitely it might be a bit frustrating, because I know with some of the slower cars when I was doing a lot of like MX-5 driving and everything like that,
Mm-hmm.
it would be like I'd see these guys start diving me once you know, because I would be focusing so much on a good exit, but I'd watch them just blow through the corner and I'd catch them on that like next straightaway after
Mm-hmm.
I'd avoid them.
Yes.
You know, it's it's the same deal where it's just like try definitely if focusing more on that exit than the entrance. The entrance I don't think is the solution
Okay.
in your case. Definitely it's getting a good exit
Okay.
is going to be the fix. So,
Yeah, I can completely believe that, and I think a few places stay in a gear higher, so I can be more throttle without that.
yep.
Some second gear through turn 9 is just brutal with the patience that it requires to think about getting on the throttle. But third gear felt much easier
Hmm.
and less stressful for me.
Yeah,
Feeding the throttle in, and just waiting for that rear to come around.
absolutely. Yeah, and for sure at Suzuka, right? I think, even, play around with short shifting in those S's too.
Mm-hmm.
And carrying a higher gear through like the through spoon and like Degna 1, Degna 2
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Okay.
Denger, whatever the hell
Yeah, so it starts with a D. That's
pronunciation.
that's the best I got.
Starts with a D. Yeah. Um And even that last chicane too, I don't know if you're going down to first, but sometimes, playing around with, a higher gear there,
Mm-hmm.
just because it allows you to get, on that throttle a bit more aggressively and a bit sooner
Okay.
as well, because you don't have to, you know, worry so much about
Yeah. Yeah,
the
I've been doing first, and just kind of straight shot between the second to last and that last corner and that little chicane
Mhm.
where I'm just, not touching the throttle until I know I'm basically straight and then full throttle and then right back off. I'll try a second and see if I can be
Yeah.
a little smoother.
Um I don't know where you are in the revs, but if you're on higher up in the revs there, definitely carrying second gear through there might be a better solution just because you can get on it sooner.
Yeah.
So
Yep, I'll give that a try. Thank you.
awesome. Yeah, no problem at all. Hopefully, this was helpful. I mean, shaved 4/10 off of your best time,
Yeah,
so
I can't argue with that.
yeah.
That's perfect.
So
Oh,
awesome.
excellent. So was I the first one you've done this with now?
You are the very
All
first.
right.
So how did it go? Any suggestions for me
It was
on
good.
how it went?
I think the only thing you answered as I asked it was, and I don't know if there'd be any way for you to show it real time, but throttle and brake inputs, like when I was watching
Hmm?
your laps, like to actually be able to see that in real time. I
Yep.
don't I don't know how to make that happen or not.
Yeah, there's got to be a way. I might have to find an overlay, I think, to do that.
Or I guess I could watch your screen share as you drove rather than
Oh,
watching it.
yep, that is a good
If
idea.
you had a if you had if you had an overlay. Because Race Labs has a telemetry input. I use that because I struggle with locking in this car so badly. So I had to have a
Hmm.
brake telemetry input on my screen in front of me. And once I did that, it made a massive difference with how much brake application I was doing, and minimizing my lockups. Because the first few races of this series was really really bad. So that would be the
Yeah.
one thing is like, especially like with that turn 8 where I was just asking about, like, are you keeping 10% throttle or something, to make this turn in, like I think in real time seeing that, for
Yep.
what I was looking for, that would be useful. Um,
Yeah.
but no, otherwise that was super helpful. Kind of looking forward to
Awesome.
Suzuka now and taking this info to there.
Absolutely. Yeah, glad. help. I think, yeah, I'm looking at getting like either Race Labs or Race Apps or something for ACC this weekend. So
Oh yeah.
I'll I'll definitely do that. Or I use JRT.
Hmm.
Um,
Haven't used that
I
one.
don't know if yeah, it's an interesting one. It's got a lot of capabilities, so I wonder if it's got that capability as well. I have to dive in, but I can definitely see how brake braking and throttle. Can you see my steering wheel
Yes,
as
I can see
well?
the steering wheel.
And you're
Yep.
okay, so it's more or less just seeing throttle application and braking as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just sent a
Yep.
screenshot of what my telemetry thing looks in Race Lab. So brakes at 100%, throttle's at 0, and so it actually has like a live trace as well, like going. So I
Yeah.
can't granted I can't see it right now because I'm not driving, but I mean it's just like in VRS, like the actual traces, and so that helped
Yeah.
me so much when I could actually see what I was doing rather than just, especially when I bought these new steering wheel and pedals from Garrett. Like that was such a struggle for me, is getting used to this new thing and be able to see it real time. That made a massive difference. So if anyone is struggling with that, like I just got new pedals, I can't figure it out. This
Yep.
made all the difference for me, like massive.
All right. Yeah, I'll have to look at that. I think did Dan Suzuki use that because that looks very familiar. I
I'm
think I've seen that on his
not
streams.
sure.
So,
This might be. I think the telemetry, but I don't know if it's on the free, because there's a free component to Race Labs, and then some of them are paid. This
hmm
might have been on the paid half of it. I don't remember.
I'll bill Samantha Tan Racing.
There you go. Be perfect.
But oh man. So
Cool. Well, thanks very much.
awesome.
Definitely share the links for your stuff on Saturday. I'll be sleeping in a tent in Topeka, so I have something to do. Watch the races. I hope they go well for you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and good luck at your race as well.
Thank you.
Um, is it a CCA or PCA?
PCA.
It's PCA, right?
Yep.
Okay. Do they share any sort of live timing or anything
They do timing
like that?
in I guess a few different apps have it. Race Hero is the one I watch it in. I'm not
Oh, yep.
sure I can
Yeah, we
confirm
do
it.
that.
I'm not sure what
We
other
do that
ones.
for karting. I know that.
Oh
We
yeah,
use Race Hero.
yeah. I see a lot of
So,
karting things. I'm scrolling through the list trying to find Porsche stuff. So yeah, it'll be on there.
oh,
I think there are
okay.
9 cars in my class, 8 or 9. One might have backed out. Might only be 8 now. So it's a pretty good grade. Happy about that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I know for a long time I was looking at Beck 944 and kind of thinking about like, if I ever had the money to do it.
Yeah, it's the well, I guess carts probably be cheaper, but as otherwise for legitimate door-to-door racing, I think it's the cheapest way to get into it because I've only got a few $1,000s in the car. My father and I built it. He did most of the work, and I helped finish it off. So he had the car and
Nice.
had a roll cage put in because he races as well. So that's what
Oh,
led
nice.
me led me into it through my wife. So
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. I got my dad into karting, so I
nice.
can